So as a result of it, now more and more surveillance, more and more control. This poster, the London Underground, secure beneath the watchful eyes, we're there to protect you with all our cameras and all this other surveillance. You should want it everywhere. Everywhere as a result, everywhere. And then we've got a situation, however, when the cameras would reveal what happened, as in the Pont-d'Alma tunnel, 17 traffic cameras, none of them working when Diana was killed. The bus never had a camera working, and according to a London transport source, someone came round and was working on the cameras that they'd never seen before in the run-up to that. And of course we had the Stockwell shooting of the Brazilian, 7 shots in the head from close range, and of course none of the surveillance cameras were working. And we've now reached a point where a group of policemen can hold down a fella and shoot him in the head 7 times and no one is arrested or charged with it because they got a bloody uniform on. That's why. This guy's lied through his teeth, stays in his job. All over the place now, we're seeing, this is in America, concentration camps being built for where they want to take the world. They want to take it to a fascist state. And incidentally, one other thing I meant to mention about the London bombings, there was a guy called Peter Power who runs a crisis management company which helps people get their security in place for various things. And he went on to Radio 5 Live, BBC, on the morning of the London bombings, and he said that the hairs on his neck were standing up because that morning his company was running a crisis management simulated crisis involving around 1,000 people. And the scenario was that bombs went off in the same places the bombs went off that morning. And he said that the only difference between their simulated scenario that morning and what actually happened was that in their scenario the bombs went off simultaneously and not, as the police were saying at that time, over a period of 50 minutes. A few days later the police announced their bombs were simultaneous. So that morning, exactly the same thing happened as that simulated crisis was simulating to happen. On that morning in that place, exactly what happened on 9/11 with those war games over the eastern United States involving hijacked aircraft. Why? Why? Because the simulated scenario is a cover, not necessarily knowingly, but it's a cover to stop the revelation of what really went on. And how about if some of these people thought they were taking part in the simulated crisis management exercise and turned out to be used as patsies, as they call them in America, to be blamed for the real thing? Now, just before we have a decent break, once again, this famous saying by Pastor Niemöller, a anti-Nazi activist in Germany, is so applicable. First they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for me. And by then there was no one left to speak out for me. And what we've got to do, what we have to do, surely, is stop being divided by what we don't agree on and start being united by what we do agree on, which is freedom for all of us. I don't care what someone's religion is, I don't care what their background is, I don't care what their bloody genetics is, doesn't give a damn. They're just all one consciousness anyway. But if we let that stuff divide us, then they'll pick us off, and they're doing it. Oh yes, let's turn on the Islams. And when we've got them buggers, then we'll turn on them. And then we'll turn on you. Well, who's going to help me? Well, there's not many people about now, mate, to be honest. United now means freedom tomorrow. And one of the things we need to look at surely as young people is saying no to the sodding military. Not being part of it anymore. Join the army, travel to exotic distant lands, meet exciting unusual people and kill them and be killed. They've got these people in America going into all the schools and the malls now, trying to get people to go, young people to go into the military, who oh, we'll pay your college bills, at least for a month till we send you off to be killed. Yeah, it's great. Hey sir, would you like to go and be in the uniform and serve the interests of the people who've made you unemployed and poor? Does that seem like a good idea? That's what's happening in America. That's Nazi Germany, that's America today. At the top. What's the difference? Same thing. Albert Einstein said, the pioneers of a warless world are the youth that refuse military service. And there was that great song in the 60s by Donovan. I stopped evolving musically after Donovan. Mellow Yellow was the peak for me. Where he said this, was so applicable then and always has been, because the few fight their wars because the many choose to fight them. We don't fight them, if Bush and people want to fight wars, I have no problem with that. Shut the freaking door, don't make too much noise, and I'll tiptoe away and leave you to it. But don't use everyone else to do it. And this song said, if I can remember the words, he's 5'2", and he's 6'4". He fights with missiles and with spears. He's all of 31 and he's only 17. He's been a soldier for 1,000 years. He's a Catholic, a Hindu, an atheist, a Jain, a Buddhist and a Baptist and a Jew. And he knows he shouldn't kill, and he knows he always will. Killing for me, my friend, and me for you. And so it goes on. And the whole point of the song is that the universal soldier is the one that fights the war. And if, as they said in the 60s, what if we had a war and no one turned up? No war. It's because we play a part in the system that is controlling us that the system is allowed to control us. If we will not be part of it, it cannot exist. And people are waking up. People are waking up. They're starting to see in greater and greater numbers what the game is, and they don't want to play, and neither should we. Now that's a great sight. I think that would be very good for the world. That's not such a good sight though. Someone sent me these pictures.